what you said about how somebody mirrors you, right? So you're not disrespecting anybody. You're pointing out that there's disrespect right in front of your forehead when you feel that, right?
Yes.
So I grew up in a household where mirroring somebody wasn't seen like that at all. So when I showed somebody that, or mirrored it, or as a child just, went into panic or cried or whatever, showed that it was disrupting what happened, it was always blamed on me. And what I'm really discovering is that I identified with that in a way. It feels like it
yes, you identified with their narrative.
Yes.
And the narrative for them was, you've made me feel this way.
Yes.
So then you believe their narrative because, well, as a kid, you're going to believe whatever you're told.
Exactly.
Like Santa Claus is real, right? You believe, I believe in the tooth fairy. So of course you're going to believe something like that.
Exactly. And what I'm learning now at this older age is that it really got into my system and that it is still stuck in there unconsciously. Always expect to victimize somebody else, but also feel victimized myself very quickly because I learned that hurting somebody or saying something wrong or doing something wrong happens like this. So I was wondering what your reaction is on that, how I can view that into a different point of light, how I can separate myself a bit more from that, since it seems to be so ingrained into my system.
Separate yourself from what?
This idea that I have that I can always hurt somebody.
Yes, I understand. So you don't separate yourself from it. You face the fact that you might, and you probably will. What you're running from is, because you've been so conditioned to believe that you are hurting people even though it's not your fault, you are now avoiding the possibility of that happening at all. And that avoidance is going to be a new problem for you.
Because then you're holding
everything back.
You're not being your authentic self.
Exactly. So you've now learned to avoid conflict at all costs.
Yeah.
So now it's time to embrace conflict.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Embrace the possibility of conflict. Now you embrace the possibility of conflict in a completely new way.
The funny thing is, I learned that I am not that much afraid of conflict myself, but I'm afraid that somebody else can't handle it.
No.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense, but it's not really true.
All right.
Think of Pontus's our conversation earlier. With compassion. Your fear of them not being able to handle it is the fear of you not being able to handle it. It's a mirror.
Yeah.
You see? So your imagination of a potential conflict in which they might not be able to handle it is you outwardly expressing the fear of you not being able to handle it. Because what you wouldn't be able to handle is if they couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
You see?
Hey.
You ain't You ain't
I need a triangle or something.
I get it.
Yeah. And all it takes is to notice that. And you'll find, and this is a very interesting thing, because I've had a very different experience with conflict. I was the confronter, right? When I was young, my parents were so confronting to me, I would go and confront people. So, I'd get into fist fights, Ethan knows all sorts of stories. I won't go into detail, but and I was talking to him about this today. So I hid. So when I realised that this level of confrontation is not necessary or effective for human society, I hid my confrontation. Right? I hid that side of myself because to me I associated confrontation was bad. So because the confrontation and the what's the term for it, like the unhealthy confrontation, the unhealthiness was mixed in with just that's what confrontation is. So I associated confrontation as no-go. You don't want confrontation. If there's confrontation, you're misunderstanding something. If there's confrontation, you're doing something wrong. There should be no conflict. But conflict, which is confrontation in some level, is a necessary part of experience. So what I had to relearn is actually to engage in conflict again, to re-engage in conflict with a new understanding. But because I had suppressed conflict for so long, if conflict arose, I would not know, in the moment, the nervous system says, I used to do this. I know that's not the way to do it anymore. And it waits to figure out what to do, right? It's processing. So what you'll find is when conflict arises, you may process. In other words, you may not do anything. You may just kind of freeze and be like, is this even happening? Is this a confrontation? You won't even know, right? Example on the phone the other day, where he called me with point blank confrontation, and I wasn't even sure if he was confronting me. You see, I was actually like, is this actually happening right now? Because to me, I find it, or at least I definitely used to find it very strange if someone confronted me, right? Because I was the confronter. So if someone confronts me, I'm now adapting to that new switch. And now I'm learning to respond in a healthy way, you see? To respond in a new way, which doesn't avoid the conflict, but is more playful, cheerful, doesn't take it seriously, you see? So that process will happen now with conflict. Life will naturally bring you the mirrors. Yeah. You'll see that. And the only thing to do is to let the process happen. I'm sharing this with you purely so you can see there's nothing to do about it. It's just a natural process. Noticing that habit or that tendency is the only thing that needed to be done. And this understanding now will carry you through those experiences. Yeah.
Hey, if you like this video, I do calls like this every single week in my free community. The link's in the description if you'd like to check that out. Thank you very much. Bye.